Chicago police are investigating the shooting death of a man shot while in the middle of a Facebook live stream. Video viewed almost 2 million times on Facebook shows Kevin Watson getting out of a car, and then seconds later, you hear gunfire.
What's up?
Chicago police say the shooting happened about 6:15 last night near Madison and Laverne on the west side. Watson was sitting in a car when another vehicle approached and someone inside began shooting. He died from his injuries. Police have not made any arrests.
On a quiet Chicago evening, a man went live on Facebook for his car, unaware that the moments ahead would capture the attention of thousands. Viewers tuned in casually, expecting nothing more than an ordinary broadcast, but what unfolded was far from routine. Within minutes, an unexpected figure appeared, and the situation shifted from calm to tense. The live stream continued rolling as voices were exchanged, movements became sharp, and a struggle began to unfold on screen. The scene that played out left viewers frozen, unable to look away, as the events edged toward an irreversible outcome. Authorities later confirmed that the broadcast provided key details, but the full picture of what took place remains under investigation. What started as an ordinary online moment quickly turned into evidence of a crime that shocked an entire community, raising questions still unanswered. If you enjoy real crime stories that uncover the truth, don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us share real cases, spread awareness, and give a voice to those who can't speak for themselves. Before we begin, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? And what are your thoughts as the story unfolds? Welcome to True Crime Uncovered, where we examine the cases that shake communities and expose what happens behind closed doors. Real stories, real people, real impact. Subscribe now and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Kevin Tugg. Watson was a 42-year-old man who lived his entire life in Chicago. He was most closely associated with the South Austin neighborhood, an area where he had long been recognized as a familiar figure. Friends and acquaintances knew him simply by the name Tugg, a nickname that became part of his identity in both personal and community circles. Watson was more than a neighborhood personality. He was a father with a young son, and the role he played in his child's life added another dimension to how he was remembered. To many, he was a man balancing day-to-day life in a city where both personal ties and public reputation carry weight. Establishing his background is necessary because it provides a fuller picture of who he was before the events that ended his life. When stories focus only on a crime, they often reduce the person to the moment of tragedy. By examining his roots, his place in community, and the personal responsibilities he carried, we begin to understand that the victim's story extends beyond headlines. What do you think shapes the legacy of a victim, their life, or the circumstances of their death? The location of the incident was the 5,000 block of West Madison Street in Chicago's South Austin neighborhood. This area is known for a constant flow of people, vehicles, and activity, even during late hours. Parking lots in such locations are common gathering spots, with traffic from both nearby businesses and residents. It was here inside his parked car that Watson began broadcasting a Facebook Live video. The act of live streaming has become an ordinary way for people to communicate with friends, showcase their lives, or simply pass time. At the start, there was no reason to expect that this particular video would stand out from countless others that happen daily on the same platform. The environment was not empty or isolated. Cars were present in the lot, and others moved along the street nearby. People were coming and going, some aware of their surroundings, others occupied with their own business. Within that mix of normal city life, Watson turned on his camera and began to stream. Have you ever considered how much personal detail is exposed during a live stream? The live stream started in an ordinary way. Watson was casual in his tone and presentation. Those who tuned in initially expected familiar content, conversation, updates, or routine moments shared with friends and acquaintances online. The audience consisted of people who knew him in different ways, neighbors, relatives, or community members who recognized Tugg as a local presence. For them, the stream was a chance to connect with him in real time, much like they had done before. As the broadcast continued, an unexpected figure appeared in view. This shift marked the turning point of the recording. The stream, which had begun as a casual interaction with viewers, now involved another person in the physical space around Watson. At first, the exchange seemed limited to words. A verbal interaction can take many forms, and in the early seconds, it was unclear where the situation was headed. However, the interaction escalated quickly. Movements became sharper, voices more urgent, and the balance of the scene shifted from conversation to confrontation. The escalation was not subtle. A sudden physical struggle began, and what had started as a live connection between Watson and his online audience now served as direct documentation of a tense and dangerous encounter. How quickly can routine online moment turn into something far more serious? As the live stream continued, Kevin Tugg, Watson remained in his vehicle in the parking lot on West Madison Street. The setting appeared routine until another figure suddenly approached. Accounts confirmed that this individual directed attention toward the chain around Watson's neck, a piece marked with the word Tugg. This object was not only a personal identifier, but also a potential target. Reports indicate that the assailant reached for the chain, attempting to pull it away from Watson. What followed was not hidden. The live stream, still active, captured partial movements of the struggle. Viewers who had initially joined to watch a simple broadcast now observed a rapid escalation between Watson and the unknown individual. The confrontation quickly intensified. In the midst of the attempt to seize a chain, gunfire erupted. A shot struck Watson in the chest. The live stream, uninterrupted, displayed fragments of the incident. The screen shifted as the camera jostled, and voices could be heard, though not all details were clear. What was certain was that the broadcast had transformed into documentation of a violent act in real time. This raises a central question. Do you think crimes caught on live video make investigations easier, or do they only raise more questions? The presence of visual evidence may appear to provide clarity, yet the incomplete angle and rapid motion left gaps in the sequence. For investigators, what was recorded is valuable, but whether it can lead to definitive identification remains an open consideration. In the moments after the shot, chaos spread both at the scene and online. Witnesses who were physically present in the parking lot reacted. Some moved toward the vehicle, while others kept their distance, uncertain of the threat. Emergency services were contacted almost immediately. Dispatch records confirmed that calls came in reporting gunfire and an injured man in the area. First responders arrived on scene and began medical procedures. Watson was removed from the vehicle and transported to Mount Sinai Hospital. Despite efforts by paramedics and hospital staff, the gunshot wound proved fatal. Medical professionals officially pronounced Watson dead soon after arrival. While events unfolded in real time at the scene, the live stream remained accessible online. As word spread about what had happened, the video began to circulate widely. Millions of people, far beyond Chicago, eventually viewed portions of the recording. For some, it was a shocking discovery of how quickly ordinary activity can turn into a fatal crime. For investigators, the widespread distribution created both opportunities and challenges. The public circulation of such content also generates debate. Should such videos remain online or be taken down immediately to protect families? On one side, the recording preserves direct evidence that may assist in an investigation. On the other, its presence raises concerns for relatives and viewers repeatedly confronted with the imagery of a crime. The decision to remove or preserve content reflects the broader tension between privacy, justice, and digital permanence. The crime left behind more than a digital record. At the scene itself, physical evidence was secured. Among the most critical items was a chain bearing the name Tugg. Despite the attempted theft, the chain remained at the location and was collected by law enforcement. Its presence suggested the assailant may have fled before securing the item that initially appeared to be the motive. Beyond the chain, investigators immediately turned to the live stream itself. Digital copies of the video were preserved and analyzed. The footage offered a direct line to events leading up to, during, and after the attack, though the view was limited. Faces, movements, and background noise provided material for review. Each frame could be slowed, enhanced, and compared against existing records. Law enforcement also canvassed the area for additional recordings. Surrounding businesses on West Madison Street may have had external surveillance cameras pointed toward the parking lot or nearby sidewalks. Any captured footage could offer clearer imagery of the suspect's approach or escape. These potential recordings were considered essential to reconstructing the full timeline. Eyewitnesses were another component. Those in the parking lot at the time of the incident were questioned. Their perspectives varied, with some focusing on the interaction, others on the sound of the gunfire, and others on the assailant's departure. Investigators also sought statements from viewers who had watched the live stream as it happened. Comments, reactions, and timestamps provided by online participants formed another layer of documentation. Together, these pieces, the chain, the live stream video, surveillance footage, and eyewitness accounts, created a multifaceted record. Yet each source of evidence carried limitations. The chain confirmed motive but not identity. The live stream captured action but with incomplete clarity. Surveillance cameras might reveal movement but not necessarily detail. Witnesses supplied observations, though human memory is often inconsistent. This leads to another question. Is video evidence enough to solve a crime, or must it always be paired with witness testimony? Modern investigations increasingly rely on digital material, but the integration of multiple sources remains essential. A single video may highlight events, but corroborating details are required to build a case strong enough for legal proceedings. Following the incident, the Chicago Police Department immediately classified the case as a homicide. Detectives from the department's Area 4 Bureau began reviewing both the physical evidence collected at the crime scene and the digital material preserved from the live stream. Their first public update confirmed the obvious. A man had been shot, and the suspect remained unidentified. No arrests were announced, and the investigation was declared active. The authorities emphasized the importance of community involvement. Residents of the South Austin neighborhood were asked to provide any information, no matter how minor, that could point investigators toward the person responsible. Police highlighted the fact that video evidence alone, while powerful, does not always lead directly to an arrest. Identifying the suspect, confirming their actions, and building a prosecutable case requires additional details that often come from eyewitnesses or confidential tips. As news of the case spread, local media quickly picked up the story. The unusual element of the crime, the fact that it had unfolded live on social media in front of an unsuspecting audience, made it stand out from other homicides that occur regularly in Chicago. Within days, national networks and newspapers were covering the story, replaying portions of the stream, and asking questions about the broader implications of violent acts being captured online. This level of coverage had a dual effect. On one hand, it brought additional pressure to investigators who faced public demand for answers. On the other hand, it broadened the call for tips well beyond Chicago, as viewers from across the country had witnessed the event. Law enforcement reiterated that they were reviewing all leads and following established procedures, but as of the most recent updates, the case remained unsolved. Why do some cases get wide public attention, while others remain local stories? The South Austin neighborhood, already familiar with crime, reacted strongly to the incident. Residents described a sense of disbelief at how a casual live stream could end in fatal violence. Community leaders organized vigils at the site where the shooting occurred. Candles, posters, and signs appeared, serving as a reminder not just of the victim's presence in community, but also the ongoing challenges the area faces. Local discussion soon expanded from mourning the loss to addressing broader concerns. Parents and community organizers question how safe public spaces really are, particularly in areas where violent crime remains a recurring issue. The fact that this incident was captured live and watched in real time added another layer to the debate. How should communities process tragedies that are broadcast without warning? Social media became the second arena of conversation. On one side, users debated whether live streaming parts of daily life exposes individuals to additional risks. Others argued that social media itself is not the issue. Rather, the problem lies with those willing to commit crimes in public. Some question whether posting identifiable details online, including location, possessions, and lifestyle, can attract unwanted attention. Community members also consider the role of digital platforms. Should platforms immediately remove violent content, or does leaving it online provide valuable evidence for both investigators and the public? This question sparked disagreement, with some insisting that removal protects families from trauma, while others argue that evidence should remain accessible to encourage witnesses to come forward. The incident also gave rise to local meetings between residents and city officials. Safety in parking lots, visibility of law enforcement patrols, and investment in neighborhood security were discussed. Calls for surveillance upgrades and stronger collaboration between businesses and law enforcement became part of the agenda. Does broadcasting personal life online invite unnecessary risks, or is it just part of modern life? While the tragedy surrounding Kevin Watson's death drew significant attention, it also highlighted a recurring theme in Chicago and other major cities: the link between violent crime and high-value possessions. Jewelry, particularly custom chains, has long been a target for theft. Incidents of robberies involving watches, chains, or other visible items are regularly reported, and in some cases, the crimes escalate into violence. Law enforcement officials and criminologists have noted that such robberies are often opportunistic. A visible chain, watch, or accessory can become a motive for confrontation, especially when the item carries symbolic or financial value. In this case, the recovered tug chain at the scene suggests that the suspect may have intended to take it, but abandoned the effort after shooting. The rise of social media has added another dimension to this pattern. Live streams, posts, and location tags can inadvertently disclose personal details to both friends and strangers. In recent years, multiple cases across the United States have shown a connection between public displays of wealth online and targeted robberies offline. Criminals sometimes monitor feeds, identify patterns, and act on perceived opportunities. Chicago itself continues to face challenges in curbing violent crime. According to recent crime data, the city records thousands of robberies and assaults annually, with certain neighborhoods experiencing repeated incidents. South Austin is one of those neighborhoods frequently cited in crime statistics. The persistence of such violence creates an environment where opportunistic crimes can occur with alarming frequency. Community experts and police analysts often point out that while video evidence is increasing, solving crime still requires a network of cooperation. Social media may capture the act, but suspects are often masked, hooded, or otherwise concealed. Identifying requires either forensic analysis of surrounding footage, digital tracing, or direct witness testimony. Without cooperation, many cases risk going cold despite being partially recorded. The national coverage of Watson's case also connects to a broader conversation. How will crime evolve as more daily life becomes digitized? Will social media platforms implement stronger safety tools, such as automatic location masking or real-time alerts when suspicious activity is detected during a live stream? Or will individuals have to adapt their behavior, limiting what they choose to share? Another factor is the perception of safety versus reality. Some people believe that going live provides a layer of protection, thinking that broadcasting events in real time discourages crime. This case demonstrates that such assumptions are not always accurate. Instead, being live can document the event but does not necessarily prevent it from happening. Do you think showing wealth online increases the likelihood of being targeted? Chicago has long been identified as a city struggling with violent crime, and Kevin Tug Watson's case reflects a wider trend that continues to raise concerns. The city consistently records incidents involving armed robberies, assaults, and homicides. What makes this case notable is not only its live-stream nature, but also the specific motive connected to jewelry theft. Across Chicago, there have been repeated reports of robberies targeting individuals wearing chains, watches, and other expensive accessories. For years, police data and news coverage have documented the frequency of these incidents, especially in neighborhoods with high pedestrian activity or visible street presence. Jewelry, particularly custom pieces, is considered an immediate source of value. Items can be quickly resold or melted down, leaving little trace. Watson's tug chain was not just a personal identifier. It represented an item criminals believed could be taken swiftly. This pattern highlights a recurring cycle. Public display of wealth, whether modest or extravagant, can attract unwanted attention. The addition of social media increases this exposure. When individuals broadcast themselves live or post images wearing expensive items, those images are no longer limited to friends or trusted circles. They can be accessed, shared, and even monitored by strangers. Law enforcement experts have increasingly pointed to the link between online visibility and real-world targeting. In several cases across major cities, individuals have been followed after posts reveal their locations, possessions, or routines. This connection raises a pressing question. Do you think showing wealth online increases the likelihood of being targeted? In the aftermath of Watson's shooting, the Chicago Police Department began a formal homicide investigation. Detectives immediately secured the physical evidence at the scene, including the recovered chain and other items in the area. However, identifying the suspect proved to be more complex. One of the primary tools in the case has been the Facebook Live recording. Investigators preserved the video, analyzing both the visible struggle and any possible reflections, voices, or movements that could provide leads. Digital forensic teams also began examining metadata, timestamps, and viewer interactions to determine if any valuable detail could be extracted from the live stream itself. The police have also sought cooperation from social media platforms. Requests for additional data, such as the origin of any suspicious accounts that might have commented during the stream, IP addresses, or potential connections to the suspect, were reportedly made. Such processes often require time, legal documentation, and back-and-forth coordination with the platforms involved. Despite these efforts, progress has been slow. As of the latest reports, no suspect has been officially identified or arrested. Authorities have not confirmed whether the assailant acted alone or if others were involved, either as lookouts or accomplices. The uncertainty about multiple suspects adds another layer of difficulty to the case. The current standing of the Kevin Watson case remains unchanged. It is open, unsolved, and under active investigation. Nearly every public statement from Chicago police has reiterated this status. Despite the attention the incident has received, both locally and nationally, officials have not released a name or description of any suspect. This suggests that while evidence exists, it may not be sufficient to move forward with charges. Law enforcement has repeatedly emphasized the need for public assistance. Calls for tips have been issued, urging anyone who might have seen something, heard something, or recognized details from the live stream to come forward. Community cooperation is often vital in solving cases where video or forensic evidence alone does not provide a full identification. Kevin Tugg, Watson's story combines three elements that make it stand out in the landscape of true crime: a public figure within his community, a crime broadcast in real time, and an investigation that remains unresolved. The facts are clear. Watson was a 42-year-old Chicago resident and father. He was live streaming from his car in a South Austin parking lot when approached by an assailant. A struggle followed over his chain. Gunfire was discharged, and Watson was fatally struck. He was later pronounced dead at Mount Sinai Hospital. The live stream, watched by countless viewers, has since become both a source of evidence and a haunting reminder of the incident. The investigation has produced evidence: the recovered chain, the video footage, and witness testimony. Police have engaged digital forensics and requested assistance from social media platforms. Yet, the case remains open, with the suspect still unidentified. This unresolved status leaves a gap in the narrative. The community has questions, law enforcement seeks answers, and the family remains without closure. The larger issues of crime, social media exposure, and jewelry-related robberies all remain part of the ongoing discussion. The story of Kevin Watson is not only about one man, but about the intersection of technology, crime, and justice in modern society. The live stream that captured his final moments is both a tool for investigators and a challenge to viewers, raising awareness about how much can be exposed to the public eye in a matter of seconds. If you found this story as gripping and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to like this video and share it with others. And if you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind these tragic events, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest stories, updates, and discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to seek justice and explore the truth. Together, we can make a difference. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.